Okay, my fellow YouTubers, my Delsolians. This is just a quick update on the right-hand drive conversion for the Del Sol. Excuse me. I took a little time away from it, just being so busy with work and going on vacation and going out of town and just taking care of other things that I had to set a little time aside from working on the car, but. Today I got a little bit, I got back to it and got a little bit done. I got the firewall fitted in place. It was cut semi-perfect, the JDM one, the right-hand drive firewall. Like I said, I cut it as full as possible in the sense of of it coming out complete and as much as possible, because then I can cut down on the JDM firewall if need be. I didn't want to shortcut myself and then I have to make up in welding or additional metal or anything like that. So it's always better to overcut so that you can cut down on the firewall than to cut too much of the firewall and then have to make up for otherwise. So let me flip this camera and then I will get right back to you. Okay, so here we are. Firewall's in place. There wasn't a whole lot that I really had to do. You can see it's all semi back in place. There's going to be some areas that I just have to kind of knock and bend back straight. But just so you guys can see, it's pretty much lined up. I mean, once I start welding it back, like this area here, I just have to bang it from the inside just to have it line up, but it's kind of already there just because it's loose. But all around here, it's pretty much sealed, and same thing on that side. I just kind of have to bang it in that corner right there and get it back flat. This area here, it ideally is semi-perfect in the sense. It lined up perfectly with the get it this way. It lined up perfectly with the flow of the water as it drains. So this line down here, I'll just weld it up. Sorry for all the movement. And then here, I'll just have to blend a weld in here just to make it look like it's supposed to be the one piece. It's slightly different on the left-hand drive in this area. It's thicker on this side on the left-hand drive car than the cut. So I just have to make up for it with a little weld, and I'll grind it and blend it in. Once I start there, then here, I just have to weld, but it pretty much lines up here as well. Of course, we'll go to the other side. And same thing here, lines up here, then I'll blend it. Of course, in this corner, make it seam, and of course it fits perfect down there. And of course, right here, everything lines up. And it'll line up perfect where the windshield will be. Once I get it tack welded, it will sit perfectly in place right there. So the windshield will be flat. Of course, the part down here, this is where we are down here. And of course, I'll weld these back up, and then I'll weld these all up. Then I'm gonna close up this hole right here. And then of course, same thing on the other side. Where we're at here, I just gotta do some banging this back into place, put these together, and then knock this, push that away, and match it up against here. But that's pretty much it. And there's this hole there that I will seal up as well. I'd like to say you can get these firewalls out as complete as possible, but there may be some areas, especially once you're going to put the firewall back in your car, there may be some areas that you'll just have to cut and weld up with another plate, another sheet of metal, or just weld the hole up little by little to close it up, which is no big deal. And same thing up here. It's a pretty much work in progress. Let me go to the inside. And this is where we look in the inside. So you can see, this is pretty much where we'll stand. I'll seal it up from there, and that's just the extra cut on the firewall, and then the extra cut on the actual car just to get the firewall in. And then I will stitch weld and close this up right here once I get it all tacked in and in place. The holes, of course, they line up as best as possible in a sense. They may be off a little bit, but for the most part, they are all in place. You see the holes here, they may be off just a tad bit or whatever it is. So I'll shake the firewall around and make sure that it's lined up, but it's pretty much on the perfect end here. And then of course, let me go to the other side. And you can see it's all lined up here. I originally bent this part up, so the firewall actually slips into place under the floor here. So then I pushed this back down because I had it bent up. So I knocked it back into place as it was all up. And then same thing on this side, just kind of bang it back up against the wall. And then same thing over here. And these are just holes that I'll close up. Of course, up here, that lines up pretty much there. I'll close that up. But once I have everything tacked in place, then I'll be able to really start the welding at the end of the day. But that is pretty much it. I mean, everything from here is kind of downhill on that note. But she is somewhat officially right-handed in the sense. I just have to weld it back up. Like I said, it's downhill from this point, just welding everything up. And there'll be more weld on it than what it was from factory, so it will be strong. There's no worry. Like I said, I didn't cut the car in half. It still has its strong crush points, which you don't want to cut the car in half and railed on a whole clip. And I've seen it done, and there's no weld strong enough to keep the car together like that. So just taking the firewall out keeps the structure around the car. And that's pretty much it. Said it's not a really easy job. You do have to know what you're doing. So before you attempt this, and by all means, this is just strictly advice on how I did it, or just how I did it for that matter. I won't say advice. So you're responsible for how you decide to do it if you do want to do it. Like I said, I've done 6 or 7 of these things, so I know somewhat exactly what I'm doing in that area. So tread carefully, get as much information as you possibly can before you do it. Of course, I didn't show detail by detail on doing this because it's so hard to have the camera positioned in every position you want so you can see exactly what I'm doing, especially in little corners and crevices and stuff on the firewall. Yeah, this is pretty much it. There wasn't really much I had to do besides a little trimming on the firewall. So just as I took it out, just had to do a little trimming on the firewall itself on the edge here, and same thing on the inside of the car. And that's just so the firewall can drop right in, because I think I overcut on the firewall to go in here, so then it was too wide when it was time to go into the car. Because if you look back at my video, when I took the firewall out, I was able to stretch and flare the right-hand drive clip, because it was a clip. It was really flexible. So I was able to cut the max out of this firewall, cut the firewall out to the max, and just flex these sides and bend them. I was able to bend them because, of course, it didn't have all the pillars and stuff. It was just a cut. So once I had the firewall cut and all the spot welds taken out, I was able to flex the front of the front of the clip, which on the car, you can't do any flexing because the car is still together. So now you have to go to work on the clip. That's all you have to play with, especially if you've max cut out in your car. All you can do is cut down on the clip. So there's no way that you can get it exactly perfect to cut. So you may have a 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch between the both sides, which, like I said, all you gotta do is weld it up. Like I said, as long as you have this area here where the windshield goes flat, you have it flat, you weld it flat and make sure it's good, then the windshield will, everything will be great. And then of course at these points, if you match these up, then your cowl, your wiper cowl and stuff will fit perfect and flat on there, and from there, that's it. But I'll do another updated video on that note once I do the welding, and I'll show you, I mean, as I kind of go along, where I welded and how I welded. And of course, I'll put seam sealer on each hole after I have welded it, and I will paint. I will put some primer on the metal, just so things don't start to rust out, because it'll be sitting for a little while before I get it back to the paint shop, so they can spray it. That's pretty much it. Like I said, kind of downhill from this point, so I'm kind of excited that I got the firewall in, and we're kind of set to go on the rest of the right hand part. So just wanted to kind of update you guys, and I'll get into a deeper video. This is just something I just kind of spent part of my day doing, getting the firewall in here, getting things banged and pocketed back up, and that is pretty much it, people. So until the next video, until the next update, I guess I will holler at you later. Of course, again, if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. Of course, share it if you know anybody that may be interested. Share the video if you want somebody else to see it or view it. Then of course, check out all my other vlogs up until this point that I've done on regards to the car, as I will continue to build on the car. And then you can follow me obviously on Instagram at JDMEK100. Again, that's JDMEK100. That's my screen name on Instagram, and then you can see my build progress there, along with everything else that I post. But everything that I'll post here on YouTube, I'll do a lot more pictures and stuff on Instagram if you want to follow me there as well. And watch along as I continue this build. But until later on, people, I will let you go. I think the video is over about 10 minutes now, 10, 11, 12 minutes. I don't want it to be too long just with what I had to say, but just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys and let you guys know where I was at, as I took a little time off, about a month and a half of time. But yeah, that is it. I will holler at you people later. Peace out.